welcome to the show. So excited to have you both here talking about this amazing film, Sylvie's Love, which comes out on Amazon Prime on December the 23rd. And when I saw the trailer, when they released the trailer, I knew that I was going to be in love with this film. And watching it last night, that just, I was just like, I gotta, I want more. I want more. So let's start with, how did you guys get involved with the project? And Tessa, if you can start, that would be wonderful.
It's funny, I have a hard time remembering exactly the first conversation, but I really came to it via Namdi, right? Namdi? Didn't you, somehow we were in communication and he said, there's this film I'd like to make and maybe you could sit down with the writer-director Eugene. And so my first real big conversation about making the film was with Eugene, but it came via Namdi, right? Is that true? Am I right?
Yeah. Well, listen, Ray, I courted her for a couple years, and she finally said, "Okay, I'll be a part of this." But then I introduced her to Eugene, and they were able to sort of hit it off.
And so I also noticed that the film was dedicated to Doris, Nancy, and Diane. And I'm assuming that this is Diane Carroll, Doris Day, and Nancy Wilson. Is that correct?
Yes.
It is. Yeah, that's the dedication. Yeah. I think it's a film that sort of has all of their qualities in it. And we were hoping that there would be a screening for them at some point as we were making it. It was just weird that all three of them ended up passing away at the same time we were making the film, and we never got a chance to show it to them. So at the end of the day, we said, why don't we dedicate it to them and their history of creative work and helping us get to this place.
You both served as not only the lead stars in this film, but also as producers. Can we talk about that duality? Because I know that can, it's kind of hard being the talent, then also serving as part of the creative team. So let's talk about that if we can.
Yeah, I think both of us were so inspired to get this movie made by hook or by crook and in different ways. For me, I feel like producing at this point in my career is a natural extension of the work that I have been doing. I tend to think producerially about a project and in a macro way about storytelling. And I think for Namdi, there's a certain, I won't speak for him, but I guess I'm speaking for him because I said for Namdi, but he had a desire to act, and he knew that unless he produced this thing, he might not get an opportunity like this. And I think I really appreciate that kind of spirit. And, as much as he said he courted me for a couple of years to make this, I was sniffing him out too. I had seen him in Crown Heights. I thought he was enormously talented. I don't know anything about football, so I didn't know what that meant. Understood that he had been a football player previously. And then, I thought, well, he's very talented in this movie, but I don't know for sure, And then I knew he was doing a play off Broadway in New York, so I thought, well, I'll go to New York and I'll see that play and see if he actually can act without the help of movie magic or editing. And then he was quite good in the play. And so I thought, okay. And, so many of the things inside of this story, a love story, getting to do something that was set in the past, I had wanted to do it for a long time, and not for nothing, though I've been working for over a decade, and I'm so grateful to have had the opportunities that I've had. The opportunity to really be a leading woman is far and few in between. Even for myself, those opportunities don't come around a whole lot. So I feel really lucky that Namdi and both Eugene could see me in that way and give me the opportunity to do something unlike anything I've done before.
Namdi, do you want to add anything else to that?
No, not really. I think it was well put. And yeah, it's great. I mean, it's been, I guess, since I'm on the spot. I mean, it has been a joy being able to work with Tessa, and the courting was real. I call, text, email, remember we did a Q&A for Crown Heights, which just popped into my head, a few years ago. So and that was like me also trying to figure out, is she going to be into this? So yeah, it's great that it all worked out in the end.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the other character, Jazz Music, which plays a very prominent role. And this show actually airs on a jazz station, so absolutely perfect. Who influenced you in the jazz community growing up, and who are some of your favorite artists? And we'll start with you, Tessa, and then work our way down to you, Nnamdi.
Any chance we can start with me on that, or do we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or do we have to start with Tessa? Does she have to?
Ray, this is by design. He wants to answer this question first for a very specific reason, because he doesn't.
Ray,
Go ahead, Nnamdi.
Ray, if you want to go first, you're going to hear a lot of lies. So
No, I won't go first. I won't go first.
Ray, let me ask you a question. What type of jazz?
So we actually play a variety of jazz music. There's smooth jazz, contemporary jazz. Our tagline is classic, cool, and contemporary, but we also play the mainstream. Am I muted?
No, no. We just...
Yeah, we also play the mainstream music, the classics, and then we have an HD2 channel that also plays nothing but classics. So all of the artists that you mentioned, I knew all those guys. Oscar Peterson's, of course, the Coltrane's, all those guys, I knew them.
Might you have a station that do you have any time programming that does specifically just smooth jazz, too? Because if so, and you're looking for somebody to come in and guess spot on it, I'm saying Nnamdi might be a good candidate because he knows a lot. He's versed in the genre.
You know, what's really interesting about that is because we're member supported, we just had our membership campaign, and we do have a portion of the evening or of the day that is called Signature Serenade, where someone can come in and actually play their favorite tune. So Nnamdi, we missed you by a day, man.
Oh, darn, Ray. I'm so sad I missed it. Listen, so when you talk about influences, my understanding of jazz as a youngster was more of the smooth jazz sort of stuff, which is great and has its place. I mean, you don't, obviously. And so, but then I came with this film, I came to learn more about Coltrane and Sonny Rollins and Dexter Gordon and all the guys, even the guys that are working today, Josh Turner, Mark Turner and Josh Redman, so I really got into it.
And what about for you, Tessa? Any jazz influences?
Yeah, I sort of grew up listening to a lot of Miles Davis. My favorite jazz record of all time is probably Kinda Blue. And then I listened to a lot of Billie Holiday growing up, and she's a huge, I'm just a massive, massive fan of her and her legacy. And then also Coltrane. Of course, my dog's name is Coltrane. He's named after both Alice and John, but I'm a very big Alice Coltrane fan. And then now I listen to, I'm also really enjoying modern jazz, and I'm a big Kamasi Washington fan, and continue to listen to all of the, jazz that I listened to in my formative years. But there's some really interesting artists in the modern jazz space too, and more experimental spaces that I enjoy.
Thanks for that. You guys, I want to talk about the way the film was shot was done so beautifully. The scene of you both dancing in the street when you finally get that opportunity to do so was amazing. Tessa, the shot of you and Aja with the record player, that was really cool. And then the scene where you guys are on the stairs, that very first kind of meeting where I think the audience kind of figures out there's this real chemistry there. So can we talk about those beautiful shots?
I'm secretly very joyous that you mentioned the shot in particular where we are, Sylvia and Mona are laying down listening to the record player, because
that was your shot, wasn't it?
This is my shot. I pitched that shot to Eugene. That scene was supposed to be shot also on the rooftop. It was a sort of ongoing montage. You would see them sunbathing, and that was supposed to take place on a rooftop where we were hanging up laundry and having a conversation, and we ended up losing that location. And so I pitched to Eugene, could it be in the bedroom, and could you shoot us from above, and could it be very simple? And so I think that's one of the joys of getting to also produce and to collaborate, is it really is a group effort, and you get to see your ideas inside of the DNA of the project. And Nnamdi and I, together thought it was really important to show the passage of time through this montage. And so we had lots of conversations back and forth, pitching things, texting each other at 9 p.m. at night. What would you do if you were falling in love in the summer of New York? Could someone be painting a portrait of us? Could we be sharing a sandwich? Could we be on a bicycle? And that was sort of that was us figuring out together what be doing for these scenes, and then shooting it one weekend. So that is a really rewarding thing, I think, in terms of this film, is just to see all of us collaborating together, and that it makes it on screen.
I have one last question. This film is coming out during a very tumultuous time, but I think it's so needed to see Black love. We've been pushing, Black Lives Matter, that we as Black people matter throughout all of the industries. And so to cap off the year with a Black love story was so, so needed. So I just want to say, if you guys can talk to that, this idea of seeing Black love on the big screen and being able to see more of that as we move into 2021.
I just want to talk about the timing of the film, because everything that you said made sense, everything that I heard, but we didn't time it out. This film had many different iterations and ways that it was going to be released. And it was supposed to be in the summer, then it was supposed to be September, then it was supposed to be shortly after that. And we didn't know a pandemic was going to hit, all of the social injustice that hit. And for it to make its way to Christmas at the most needed time, the end of the year, for everyone to be able to exhale and really respond to it and be able to see love in a universal way, although it surrounds two Black characters, which, our community really needs to see. And I think all communities need to see. It's still love, in its most universal sense. And so I think it's rewarding that it gets to come out at that time. And I just also want to say, I love what's going on behind you there. And I think I see The Bodyguard up there, which is another one of my father-in-law's favorite films. So I'll let him know about that.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Yeah. It's The Bodyguard, Purple Rain, Dreamgirls, Lady Sings the Blues, which is what this film so reminded me of, the Diana Ross, Billy D. Williams moment. You guys rehash that. Mahogany, The Wiz, Lena Horne, The Last Dragon, and Ain't Misbehaving.
That is so perfect, so perfect for our film, to be sure. I love that.
Yeah. Well, guys, I know we're out of time, but thank you so much for being my guest today. And again, much success with this film. I loved it. I know audiences will love it, and they can check it out on December 23rd on Amazon. And can't wait for everyone to see it.
Thank you so much, Ray. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ray.